How a Spanish nobody turned into one of MI6's most valuable assets, because he'll send Hitler the greatest lie of the Second World War. And the remarkable part is this: the Germans will thank him for it. In a London basement, 1944, a man sits surrounded by typewriters, radio sets, and coded message pads. Cigarette smoke curls beneath the dim light as he drafts another report for Berlin. Outside, air raid sirens wail. Inside, a single voice decides the fate of an invasion. His name is Juan Pujol Garcia, codename Garbo. To understand how an untrained civilian became the man who deceived the Third Reich, you have to start in a place far from London. Barcelona, 1940. Europe was collapsing. Spain, still scarred from civil war, lay under Franco's dictatorship. Pujol, a failed businessman, a man with no military experience, felt disgusted by tyranny on all sides. He wasn't British, but he wanted to fight Nazism in any way he could. So he walked into the British embassy in Madrid and offered to spy for them. They refused, politely but absolutely. So he did something that defied logic. He offered to spy for the Germans instead. The Abwehr, German military intelligence, welcomed him eagerly. They believed he could travel to London and build a spy network inside Britain. They gave him invisible ink, money, and orders. But there was one problem. Juan had never even been to London. He didn't speak fluent English, and he had no network. What he did have was imagination. From a small room in Lisbon, he began sending detailed intelligence reports to Berlin. He forged documents, created fictional agents, and mailed letters through neutral channels. His sources were fabricated, 27 of them, each with their own handwriting, style, and backstory. He invented a whole world that existed only in his mind, and the Germans believed every word. One of his imaginary agents was a Welsh nationalist sympathetic to Germany, another a Venezuelan shipping clerk. There was even a typist inside the British Ministry of Information, a complete invention. Pujol mailed letters describing convoy movements, troop morale, weather conditions, and factory production. All entirely false, yet sprinkled with just enough truth from public newspapers to sound plausible. Berlin considered Agent Arabelle one of their most promising recruits. They sent him more money, more codes, and asked for even deeper infiltration. Meanwhile, British intelligence began intercepting these strange reports, false data that somehow perfectly matched Allied deception plans. Someone, somewhere, was lying beautifully. They traced the trail back to Lisbon, and when MI6 discovered the man behind it, they didn't arrest him. They hired him. Under British supervision, Arabelle became Garbo, named for the actress Greta Garbo, the master of disguise. He joined the 20 Committee, the British unit that ran all double agents under the principle of double cross. From that moment, every message he sent to Berlin was reviewed, edited, and approved by MI6. The Germans believed he was working for them. In reality, he was now Britain's invisible weapon, and the architect of an illusion that would change history. The mission had one objective: misdirect Hitler. Allied forces were preparing to invade Nazi-occupied France, but they needed Germany to believe the invasion would happen in Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy. The deception plan was called Operation Fortitude, part of the larger bodyguard of lies, Churchill's code name for the Grand Deception Campaign. Its success depended entirely on Garbo's credibility. If Berlin trusted him, they would hold their strongest divisions in the wrong place. If they doubted him, the invasion could fail before it began. In a cramped MI6 office, Garbo and his handlers built an empire of fiction. 27 imaginary agents spread across Britain, a naval officer in Glasgow, a courier in Liverpool, an airfield mechanic in Kent. They wrote letters between these phantom characters, created financial records, and even filed expense reports for people who didn't exist. MI6 built entire backstories, deaths, illnesses, promotions, to make the network feel alive. Garbo transmitted these updates to the Abwehr through encoded radio messages. Each report referenced another fake agent, reinforcing the illusion. It was a web of lies so detailed that it began generating its own momentum. As D-Day approached, Garbo's reports became critical. He told Berlin that the Allies were assembling a massive army under General Patton, preparing to strike Calais. He mentioned troop movements, fake radio chatter, even construction of new landing craft near Dover. Every part of it was invented, supported by physical deception, inflatable tanks, wooden aircraft, dummy camps that fooled German reconnaissance. Garbo's network became the heartbeat of a world that didn't exist. The Abwehr called him their crown jewel. They rewarded him with bonuses and medals, praising his unmatched reliability. Then came the test, June 5th, 1944, the eve of D-Day. Garbo sent an urgent message warning that the invasion would begin within hours at Normandy. He meant it to build trust, to prove he could deliver high-value intelligence, but the Germans received it too late. Their decoding team delayed transmission until morning. By the time Hitler read it, Allied troops were already landing. To the Nazis, this delay proved Garbo's honesty. They concluded he had tried to warn them, and that Normandy was only a feint before the real invasion at Calais. Hitler refused to redeploy his armoured divisions for 7 crucial weeks. That single misjudgment sealed Germany's defeat in Western Europe. Historians later calculated that Garbo's deception saved more than 40,000 Allied lives. He didn't kill anyone. He just made his enemy believe what he wanted them to. The Germans never suspected betrayal. They awarded him the Iron Cross, personally approved by Hitler. At the same time, Britain awarded him the MBE, Member of the Order of the British Empire, a man decorated by both sides of the same war. It was the ultimate symmetry of deception, and a reminder that in war, truth is just another weapon. After victory, Garbo vanished. To protect his identity, MI6 staged his death, a malaria outbreak in Angola. The world believed the hero spy was gone. In truth, he quietly moved to Venezuela under a new name. He opened a small business, lived modestly, and never spoke of what he'd done. Years later, when a British historian tracked him down, he was living alone in Caracas, grey-haired, polite, and still wary of being recognized. When asked why he'd chosen deception over combat, his answer was quiet. Because lies sometimes save more lives than bullets. To this day, intelligence scholars still study his operation. They call it a masterpiece of human manipulation, a perfect fusion of psychology, bureaucracy, and patience. Garbo's genius wasn't in technology or violence. It was in credibility. He built trust so deep that his enemies couldn't imagine questioning him, and that's what makes his story terrifying. If one man could deceive an entire empire, what else might be built on illusions that seem real enough to trust? Inside the archives of MI6, his file remains a blueprint for modern information warfare. Every disinformation campaign, every digital deception follows principles he pioneered by hand. Credibility through detail, consistency through repetition, and the illusion of independent confirmation. The tools have changed, the psychology hasn't. In the 21st century, armies fight with algorithms, not ink. But Garbo's ghost lingers in every operation where truth becomes optional and trust becomes the battlefield. His story exposes a deeper paradox of intelligence, that the purest act of loyalty can look like betrayal, and that victory often belongs to those who master the art of illusion. Garbo lived and died in the space between two lies. One told to save the world, and another told to disappear from it. When he finally stood again in London decades later, the city he had once protected from afar didn't recognize his face, but his deception still echoed in its freedom. In 1988, he visited Normandy for the first time. He walked quietly along the beaches where his fiction had once decided fate. No one knew who he was, just an old man standing by the sea looking at the waves. Somewhere between guilt and pride, he understood what he had done. He had rewritten history without being in it. He had made the world safer through a lie, and he had done it so perfectly that no one ever saw the truth behind it. What does the story of Agent Garbo reveal about the world we live in? That belief is more powerful than bullets. that entire wars can hinge not on strength but on perception. And that sometimes the most dangerous weapon isn't a bomb. It's a story you choose to believe. If this story changed how you see espionage, hit that like button, share it, and subscribe. Because the next operation, the next invisible war, might already be unfolding behind a story you think is true.